Jacob?
Good, good. Coming off last weekend and you get kind of a week to prepare for Bedlam, where do you feel like the team's at going into this week?
Yeah, well, we've had a good week. I would say the doubleheader Saturday, one game Sunday was a lot of competition in a short amount of time. So I think the guys enjoyed Monday to, just sleep and recover and get caught up on school. And then we had a very short workout Tuesday, and then another pretty short workout yesterday. And they seem to be moving around great and having bounced back from last weekend and taking care of their business. And they're in dead week right now, so they have some academic responsibilities that they're making sure they're up to speed with. But today will be a little bit more expanded in terms of a bit more time spent on the field, and then we'll be ready to play come tomorrow. So the kids have handled this week well, and it was probably not a bad week to not have a midweek game, considering how much we put into last weekend in a short amount of time, and considering that we're kind of putting ourselves back together a little bit in terms of some injuries. So I feel good about the team. I feel good about their mindset, and feel good about what they put on display on Sunday in terms of their fight. So yeah, all those things for me are good markers about where we're at.
You mentioned the injuries. Kind of what is the status of guys like Parker and Justin and guys like
that? Yeah, well, we're day by day right now with the kids every day this week, and just helping them have extra time to recover and see how their bodies are responding. So hopefully tomorrow when we get to the field and, get in uniform and start moving around, we'll know a little bit more, a little closer to first pitch anyway, what our pitching plans and our active roster will look like. Kids are healing, but as you know, sometimes just the body needs a little bit of time to get back to 100%. So as of right now, we're still a little bit TBA when it comes to everybody's health and return to the field, but we are improving.
What I want to ask you about Brett Standlee some. What are your plans with him this weekend?
He is. I'd say right now we're working him back into having access to him at some point, maybe in game 2 if necessary, or certainly he's a possibility to start if necessary, depending on how Rob wants to put the weekend together. Not trying to be elusive in the answer, but sometimes it's not a clear cut plan when you're constantly, trying to put a good pitch plan, a good game plan together one day at a time, and doing so, moving around your roles. Obviously what he did on Sunday was a strong statement about his flexibility and versatility as a pitcher. So he's a luxury in an ideal setting. He's a luxury to have in the bullpen because his ability to pitch out of jams and close games and bounce back. But he's also shows you right there that, when you're down a couple of starting pitchers, you can go to that guy and he can give you a chance to win as a starter. So that's a pretty versatile pitcher. Not many guys have the ability to be 2 places at once, if you will. He can be in the bullpen in day 1 and day 2 like he was last weekend, and when we didn't get to him with a chance to win, we were able to start him. So that's kind of probably more to ask of him than anyone else, but at the same time he's up to the task. So we'll see kind of how the first 2 games go and then read the series by Sunday.
Have you ever coached a player that versatile that can be a closer? He hasn't started all season and then come out and throw 117 pitches like he did.
Every now and then you get a guy that is in elite physical shape, that trained to be a starter in the winter, which Brett did, that built his pitch count up in January and February when we were indoors, kind of building endurance. I would say without question, he's been the most diligent kid on his throwing program and his strength and conditioning piece as far as his long toss and his endurance work. So, every so often you get a super versatile kid who mentally and physically doesn't require all the set standards of when I'm going to pitch and how much I'm going to pitch. Some guys really like to know that. Some guys need that. Brett just says, tell me when I'm pitching and give me the ball. And between now and then, I'm going to be the best teammate possible. And yeah, you do get some of those guys. I think back to the Battenfield brothers. They were incredibly versatile pitchers here. Both did great things out of the pen. Both had started, both had closed, both were durable. So yeah, we've had some pretty remarkable relief pitchers over the years. Vince Wieland, if you think back, was out of the bullpen all year long. We started him in the regional championship, I guess, against UC Irvine several years ago, and did very much similar to what Brett did. So every now and then guys are just kind of conditioned for that, but that's probably not normal now, whereas most guys specialize a little bit more specific in how they get ready.
I'm not going to hog all the questions. Let someone ask the questions here.
Coach, do you notice a difference with your players, when it's Bedlam week, when you're about to take on OU? Just kind of the attitude and how they carry themselves.
I don't know. I mean, our kids like playing games that people are interested in, and the Bedlam series always gets good attention. I mean, great crowds, and obviously, it's something that in our state gets more attention than maybe playing a team from elsewhere. But not so much on the day-to-day. I mean, we talk about it all the time. Try to do things right every time you do it, and right is right. And to try to do it harder or faster or more emotionally doesn't really lead to playing better. And so we don't hype that up much, to be honest with you. It's not really one of those things where we talk about it all that much either. We just we know we got an important series. We respect our opponent, that's for sure. We know OU's a good team, and we know the game one is tomorrow night here in Stillwater. Other than that, not really. You don't have to tell the kids a lot anymore. I think this is Nathan that asked me that question. I can't see his face, but if you know guys nowadays, they know what's going on. they follow stuff on social media or wherever they take their news and their cues, so they know what's going on. And you don't really have to say much as a coach unless your message is different than the one that they're receiving elsewhere. So yeah, I don't think it's been any different, but I tell you, our practices have been great though. Yesterday is maybe the best round of batting practice I've seen our kids take in a long time. I walked away from yesterday's practice very impressed by the way the kids went about what they did, and I can't always say that. I thought yesterday stood out as a very high level practice on their end.
Yeah, it is. Bedlam obviously is a different kind of setup too, playing in Stillwater one night and then playing in Norman the other days. Does that change any way you prepare, any way you handle the series?
Well, game one at home, so that's a pretty comfortable game one when you're in your own space and your own routine. So that's good. Days 2 and 3 in Norman, we'll bust down and we're familiar with their ballpark, having played, a midweek game there fairly often and an occasional conference game there. So big ballpark and turf. So, we know some of the elements that make L. Del Mitchell Park their home field. So we know we'll be, heading down to a big ballpark with turf. And usually if it's warm and this time of year, usually it's a warm, windy day. So those elements are certainly part of what day 2 and 3 hold. But the series has always moved around, as you know, whether it was Tulsa at Oklahoma City or whatever the arrangement was. We're used to playing this tournament this particular series in 2 spots, kind of like the conference tournament where you roll into a venue like Bricktown. We would go play games 2 and 3 usually in Bricktown. So we've kind of been conditioned to adjust day to day.
And regardless of the conference opponent, having lost, I guess now 5 of 6 of the Big 12 games, how important is it to get back on track just in conference play?
Well, we're 1-0 in conference play, in my opinion, because that's the last game we played. And I mean that from the standpoint of we were fighting through a heck of a TCU team on the road where we had some close games and faced some adversity with some injuries. We played 2 really tough games against Texas, which is a top 5 team. We were right there knocking on the door. And as we always tell the kids, look forward. We played a good game Sunday, build on that, look forward. We've never not treated every single one of these games as important. So they always matter and they always have value, no doubt. So yes, we fully recognize the value of these games and the importance of them to our season and what we're here to do, no doubt. But we, as I've told the kids, there's runs and streaks in every season, and to get on a positive run and to break tough streaks requires mental toughness. They put that on display Sunday. Now it's time to get on a run. And the elements of a strong team finish and a strong run later, they're fun to look at. Quality starting pitching, good relief pitching, clutch hitting, high level defense, and a heck of a lot of confidence are all things that we talked about, wanting to play with and put on display. So that's our focus, Nate, is playing the game the right way with those elements and knowing that that's the best way to approach it.
All right. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Anything else for Josh? If not, we'll get Brett up here. So,
Josh, real quick, you mentioned last week to me how pleased you are with the way your lineup is constructed right now and the way they're performing. They did well over the weekend too. So, and you said they had really good batting practice yesterday. Do you feel like you're starting to find your stride offensively more and more each week?
Yeah. I would tell you, Jacob, I don't know that I remember a college baseball season, and I've thought about this quite often, where week in, week out, the talent of the arms going to the mound against us has ever been this high. Every young man Texas put on the mound last weekend was very high level. A couple of them would be in the elite category, meaning they're not normal. You don't see that kind of pitcher in college often. Ty Madden's elite. Their young relief pitchers are extremely good. Their second pitcher is extremely skilled. You look back to the pitchers TCU put on the mound, elite. I mean, we've got all kinds of great arms that we're seeing this year. So I don't know that a college team has ever seen a year where this many quality arms, game after game after game after game, are taking the mound. And in the scouting report sheet where I'm writing down 93, 95, 95, 97, 96, 98, I mean, those were things you never used to write down. And if you wrote them down, it was once on maybe one pitcher, but to write that down 6, 7, 8, 9 times per pitching staff, like we've done, and looking back into the run that we've been on, I think we've seen the best pitching that we've ever faced as a team. And I think to this point, the kids have grown and gotten better as the year's gone on. So I feel like we've gotten better. We've gotten some guys back in the lineup that have made a huge difference to our team. And I think you see the effects of last year not having a full major league draft with the amount of talent on college campuses right now. I just see more good pitching than I've ever seen in college baseball. And if you flip on the TV, you'll see the same thing on other games if you get a chance to watch a game from another conference. So lots of arm strength, lots of skill, lots of experience, and probably the best run of pitching we've ever seen. And when I was in college playing in the Big 12, there might have been 5 guys I could count on one hand that threw the ball 95 miles an hour. And then there was a lot of really good pitchers. But now we're seeing that every single weekend. So the game's gotten fast. The game's gotten challenging. And the kids have done a good job of trying to get better and adjust to it as we go. Not every game's perfect, but we've had a much more competitive and much more developed offense here in the last probably 6 weeks than we did at the beginning.
It's got to be good moving forward, right? As you get closer to the postseason.
Yeah. I mean, I think back to the skill level we faced, the Grand Canyon pitching staff early in the year, super skilled. Those guys really knew how to pitch. Illinois State had some really good lefties. Then we faced the Vanderbilt, dynamic duo, which was, very high end, and they continue to be. And that really kind of took us right into the conference where, once again, every weekend in our league, you're going to see some right-handed pitcher with a great arm. You're going to see some lefty with tremendous skill. You're going to see all these things every week. And so the pre-conference schedule was good for us. It exposed us to those things because the conference certainly has been as good every single time out as I remember it.
Thanks, Josh.
You're welcome. Is that it?
What's going on?
Brett, how are you?
Good.
Good seeing you.
It's good to be here.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and start since you're here. How do you feel a few days after throwing 117 pitches?
Surprisingly, I feel really good. Got most of the soreness out. I think the 2 days after being like 80 and just humid, I got a good sweat in, got all the soreness flushed out. So I feel better than I thought I would, which is, attribute to what we're doing in the weight room and everything we're doing in practice and on the field. So,
you've been versatile your whole career. You've been a reliever, you've been a starter, you've done all these different things. Were you even surprised with yourself Sunday, being able to come out and throw 117 pitches and do what you did?
I wouldn't say surprised. I mean, I definitely was worn out towards the end of that, but I knew I was pretty much throwing a bullpen or throwing off the mound every day as a closer. So I knew my arm was in shape. It definitely was the first time it was extended that much, but I think kind of adrenaline and just my competitive nature took over, and I really wasn't counting pitches. I was just trying to get the job done.
Right. Now, Josh said you trained in the offseason as a starter, so you were kind of built for this already. Talk about the training for a starter, then being the closer and going back and forth, and maybe the challenges there.
I'd say really the only challenge is kind of, getting a routine. As a closer, there's definitely different things you have to do than having been a starter. So I guess there's just kind of, finding the routine. And once you know each routine, it's easy to go back and forth, whether you're going to close that weekend or start that weekend. You can kind of jump into that routine easy if you kind of know what it is.
Were you always as versatile? I know in high school you were a starter, but were you always able to bounce around like this with your arm and just bounce back so easily?
Yeah, I guess growing up on travel ball teams, just pitching one game, playing third the next, catching second, kind of just being able to grow up and play more in one position or whatever. It's kind of taught me, be able to, control or kind of feel how my arm's feeling and just judge it and know my body a little bit better. So kind of able to understand if I'm sore or whatever, what I need to do to be ready.
And then last one for me for now, how do you approach this weekend? Because Josh said you could be available Saturday. You could start one of these games. You could come to the bullpen. He's not quite sure yet.
Just take it day by day. Stick to the routine I'm doing right now through the week. And then when the weekend comes around, whatever I need to do, I'll be ready.
Awesome. Thanks, Brett.
Mm-hmm.
Brett, the Bedlam series, is that any different for you, especially being a guy from Oklahoma? But does the team in particular, the players, are you in particular, does it feel different when you take on these guys?
There's definitely a kind of a little more edge you want to have when you're playing Bedlam. I wouldn't say it's different than any other Big 12 series we play, but just, from being Oklahoma and then, growing up hearing about these Bedlam rivalries, it's kind of, it does deep down kind of mean more to you. But, you just got to play it like it's a regular game, go out there and compete and hopefully come out on top.
And I guess even more important than that kind of bragging rights thing is you guys have lost 5 out of 6 in Big 12 play. How important is it to get a winning streak going now that you took that last game against Texas?
I think it's really important. Josh talked to us this week about how, streaks and runs start. I think, you look back to 2 years ago when we got swept by Tech and then we turned around and then swept Oregon State. It's just kind of like anything can happen through baseball. You just kind of get hot at the right time, and hopefully that happens this weekend.
Is it weird for you guys at all to be playing, in Stillwater on a Friday night and then Norman on a Saturday and Sunday, breaking up a series like that?
Yeah, it's different, but luckily Norman's just about an hour drive from here, so it's nothing terrible. You just got to treat it like you're just going to play, some high school Friday night football game or something. But it's nothing crazy. We'll be all right.
All right, appreciate it. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Brett, I'm going to go back to the beard, man. I know you've been asked about it before, probably, but how do you groom this thing? How do you take care of this?
It's kind of like making your hair or whatever when you get up. Some people have bed head. I got bed face, I guess you can call it. So I got to, you got to shower and then comb it and stuff like that. But, it's fun. I love it. I love it that people rally around it kind of, and teammates love it. So it's kind of became a little part of who I am and kind of what my role is and everything like that. So
does it bring an intimidation factor on the mound for you?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I would like to think that they're intimidated, but I couldn't say.
And I also like to tell people you look just like Mike Napoli. I don't know if anyone's ever told you that, but when Mike Napoli has
I heard that before.
You got to pull a picture up. I swear you look like Mike Napoli.
Yeah, I've heard people have called me Archie Bradley before, so I get that. Maybe some Dallas Keuchel because he's from Tulsa too. So they kind of relate me to those guys. But
how much fun do you guys have as a team about your beard? I mean, is that kind of a joke or anything like that, or?
Oh, there's not. People don't really joke around with it. Yeah. There'll be times where like I'll go get it cut or something. They'll be like, "Ooh, man, they messed up your beard," and I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I gotta grow it back out or something." But it's just it doesn't come up every day, but there's some funny stuff to talk about.
How long have you been working on this beard?
Well, I shaved over quarantine, so probably last summer. So it's probably been about 7 to 8 months.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
My wife wouldn't let me grow my beard out like that. I was growing it for a while, being in quarantine, and she cut me off on that one.
Yeah.
So awesome, Brett. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you. Is that everything?
That's it for me. Thank you.
All right, we'll get Cade up here next. Thank you, sir. Hey, get a little closer.
So with Bedlam coming up here, do you guys, players, I mean, do you feel differently about this kind of series? Is it bigger than a normal Big 12 series just because of the rivalry aspect of it?
I don't know about bigger. There's definitely a little bit more energy towards it just because it is Bedlam. But up until this point, I'd say we've played in some pretty big Big 12 series this year already. So not better. There'll definitely be more energy around us, with fans and stuff like that just because it is Bedlam. And it's always an exciting one, so.
And you guys having struggled a little bit the last couple of Big 12 series, how important is it to build on that win over Texas on Sunday and get a winning streak going here in conference?
That was huge on Sunday, just to kind of get that little down streak we were on kind of off our back. And you're like, all right, you know what, we got this. We're moving forward. I think that was really good for us and just moving forward, kind of leaving it behind. And I think that's what we're doing. We're just taking everything day by day, doing what we can do, and then that's what we're going to do this weekend, take each game one game at a time.
All right, that's all I got. Go ahead, Jacob.
Cade, doing all right today?
Doing great. How are you?
Doing great, man. You mentioned the importance of Sunday. Brett obviously came out through 117 pitches and did what he did. How big is he with this team, either as a closer or as a starter, and what he can do?
Let's just say this, take baseball out of it. Brett's like an incredible human being, as is. He's a great friend off the field, amazing guy, someone you would want to be friends with in general. And then when you get to come to the baseball field with him every day, like we get to do, you see how hard he works. And then you've gotten, like everyone saw him out of the pen this year, he was awesome. So when he went to the mound, it was like, we're probably going to do it today because Brett's on the mound. Like that's the confidence you have. You're like, hey, Brett Standlee's on the mound. Like, let's get going. Like, let's back this guy up. And, we did that. So he went out there, pitched amazing. We finally put I would say, a complete game together on offense, kind of kept it going as the game went, and good things happened.
Did you expect 117 pitches out of him, though?
No, I heard that question earlier and asked if he was surprised, and he said he wasn't, but I definitely was. I don't know that I've seen him this year go maybe over 30 one time. Like he had one outing where he maybe got up there a little bit. So the 117 was very surprising. I was actually more shocked that he kept his velo the whole time. Usually see guys when they get up there, that velo will start coming down, but he held it, and it was awesome. It was awesome.
What do you think of his beard?
It's awesome. Yeah, he can't get rid of that thing though. He shaved it last year, and I was like, oh my gosh, man. So, no, Brett's beard's awesome. We really don't talk about it a whole lot just because he's had it for so long. Some of us have been around him for so long that it's like, oh, that's just Brett. But we love it.
I was asking on a different topic. I was asking Josh about he feels good about the way the offense is moving and you guys are progressing. But he talked about this is probably the toughest pitching you faced consistently all season. Starting with Grand Canyon and Vandy, and then now the Big 12 guys, 95 plus all the time. How do you feel like you guys are progressing against this kind of pitching?
I would say pretty good. I mean, it's not every day that you're going to see. I know for sure we've seen at least 3 guaranteed first rounders this year, and 3 of them might be top 10 picks. That's not very, you don't see that very often. But I think it's helping us just develop overall. So when you go see a pitcher that's maybe not as good, we're able to get on him and maybe get on him a little quicker, get him out of the game a little faster. I think it's definitely helping the lineup up and down. And, you know, it's going to help at the end of the year when that really matters, because at the end of the year is when you see everyone's got their best stuff. So I think we'll be prepared and, you know, nothing will really surprise us anymore.
You've been around a while. Have you seen a year of this kind of pitching facing you guys before?
Not as, you know, more than Josh was saying. You know, Josh said he only saw like he could count on one hand guys throwing that hard. But, I mean, never this many in one season. That's for sure. Like, this is the most, like, amount of arms with really good stuff, hard velo that I've seen since I've been here.
How tough is that mentally?
At the end of the day, it's just like it's another day up there at the plate. You know, you're going to have to probably get that foot down a little bit faster, and you're going to have to be a little bit sharper up there. But for me personally, I don't try to blow it up and make it more than it is. You know, you come in against a Vanderbilt team, we'll say, and you know that Kumar Rocker and Jack Leiter are going to be 1-2 in the draft. But I don't want to go out there and, in my head, over glorify what, because at the end of the day, like, they're coming, so I might as well go back at them. Yeah.
Awesome. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you. Good. Perfect. Awesome. Thanks. All righty. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.